Planning. Now I'm going to discuss planning, which is the most important part of functions of management, and it's also very important for office administration. It is the process of setting goals and courses of action, developing rules and procedures, and forecasting future outcomes. What planning entails? Entails means need. Choosing goals and courses of action and deciding now what to do in the future to achieve those goals. Number 2. Assessing today the consequences of various future course of action. Parts of planning. Every planning has three parts. Number 1, plan, a method of doing or making something consisting of a goal and a course of action. Number 2, goal, a specific result to be achieved, the end result of a plan. And number 3 is objectives, specific results towards which effort is directed. What planning accomplishes? Accomplishes means to fulfill the requirements or to complete the work. It means allows decision to be made ahead of time, permits anticipation of consequences, provide direction and sense of purpose, provides a unifying framework, avoiding piecemeal decision making, helps identify threats and opportunities and reduces risk, facilitates managerial control through the setting of standards for monitoring and measuring performance. The management planning process. The management planning process starts from planning hierarchy. Top management formulates its plan based on upward feedback from the departments, and the departments in turn draft plans that make sense in terms of top management. Top management approves a long-term plan and each department creates its own budgets. How to develop a plan? It's a very important for anybody, for any administrator or for any organization or for any department. So we can develop a plan through set an objective, evaluate the situation, determine the procedures, set a timetable, assign responsibility, check the plan for feasibility and cost. Well-conceived plans must have resources, methods, tasks, sequence, individuals, location, deadlines, stop points and measurements. Principles of goal setting. Set SMART goals. Make them specific, measurable, attainable, relevant and timely. Choose areas such as sales, revenue, costs and so forth that are relevant and complete. Assign specific goals, assign measurable goals, assign doable but challenging goals, encourage participation, use executive assignment action plans or management by objectives. Levels of planning. We have three levels of planning: strategic, tactical and operational. And our goals and plans linked with these plannings. Strategic plans, it must be 5 years. Tactical plans, it must be 3 years. And the operational plans, it must be less than 1 year. Now I am going to discuss one by one. Strategic plans, it means related to future plans and objectives. Tactical plan, it describes the steps and actions that must be taken to achieve the goals from the strategic plan. And the third one is operational plan. It means how to streamline the daily or routine work for the achievement of organizational goals and objectives. Now I am going to discuss administrators' planning and objectives. Number 1, participatory objectives to be set. Objectives should be written. Objectives should be measurable and understandable. Objectives should be challenging and realistic. Objectives should be regularly updated. And the objectives should be assigned priorities. Administrators' planning activities. Following are the activities included in the administrators' planning: budget, improvement program, human resource needs, production planning, resource allocation, scheduling. Action planning. Following are the steps should be taken by any administrator for the planning of activities. Number 1, what must be done. Number 2, why it must be done. Number 3, when should it be done. Number 4, who should do it. Number 5, where it should be done. And number 6 is how it should be done. And on the other side, consequences of poor planning. Following are the consequences of poor planning: poor quality work, dissatisfaction of employees, high cost, misunderstanding and confusion, accidents, pressure from top. Organizing. Now I am going to discuss organizing, and it means arranging the activities of the enterprise in such a way that they systematically contribute to the enterprise goals. Depositing the organization. Depositing means show the organization through artwork or any chart or any diagram. So I am going to show the organization through organization chart. A chart that shows the structure of the organization, including the title of each manager's position, and by means of connecting lines, who is accountable to whom and who has authority for each area. Authority and the chain of command. It is also a part of organizational chart. Chain of command. The path that a directive and or answer or request should take through each level of an organization, also called a scalar chain or the line of authority. And the second one is authority, which is also very important, and it means the right to take action, to make decisions, and to direct the work of others. Line and staff authority. Line manager. A manager who is in charge of essential activities such as sales and authorized to issue orders to subordinates down the chain of command. Staff manager. It is different from line manager. A manager without the authority to give orders down the chain of command, except in his or her own department, generally can only assist and advise line managers in specialized areas such as human resource management. Functional authority. It means narrowly limited power to issue orders down the chain of command in a specific functional area such as personnel testing. The informal organization. It is also a very important part for any organization, and we may also call it grapevine. And it means the informal contacts, communications, and habitual ways of doing things that employees develop. We have two types of organization: functional organization and divisional organization. Now I am going to discuss functional organization. A functional organization is a common type of organizational structure in which the organization is divided into smaller groups based on specialized function areas such as IT, finance, or marketing. Divisional organization. The divisional organizational structure organizes the activities of a business around geographical market or product and services groups. Thus, a company organized on divisional lines could have operating groups for the United States or Europe or for commercial customers. Every type of organization has advantages and disadvantages. So I am going to discuss here advantages and disadvantages of functional organization. Advantages. It is simple, obvious and logical. It fosters efficiency. It can simplify executive hiring and training. It can facilitate the top manager's control. Disadvantages. It increases the workload on the executive to whom the functional department heads report. It may reduce the firm's sensitivity to and service to the customer. It produces fewer general managers. Advantages and disadvantages of divisional organization. Advantages. The product of service gets the single-minded attention of its own general manager and unit, and its customers may get better, more responsive service. It's easier to judge performance. It develops general managers. It reduces the burden for the company's CEO. Disadvantages. It creates duplication of effort. It may diminish top management control. It requires more managers with general management abilities, and it can breed compartmentalization. Creating matrix organization. It It is also a different type of organizational structure. An organization structure in which employees are permanently attached to one department but also simultaneously have ongoing assignments in which they report to project, customer, product or geographic unit heads. We also have tall and flat organizations and the span of control. Tall organizations, more management layers and more hierarchical controls. Flat organizations, fewer management layer and decision making closer to the customer. Span of control. It means the number of subordinates reporting directly to a supervisor. Wide spans, larger number of direct reports. Narrow spans, fewer number of direct reports. Here I am going to end my topic planning and organizing. So if you like my video, do not forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so you can get notified when I post new content. Thank you.